In first place, we have that in gender and register, we have that in discourse analysis, according to Ed and Martin in 1997, gender register are the technical concepts employed to explain the meaning and the function of variation between texts. So that means that to explain these concepts, we need to follow the function and the variation between texts. We need to follow two steps, like we need to describe the linguistic effect. That means one instructor and a detailed description of grammatical and discourse pattern in English. This is according to A.J. Martin in 1997. But to complete this, that we need to we have three main characteristics to complete this step. Then that means the how we're gonna to describe the words and the structure. Okay, the first one is the degree of formality of the language usage in a text. The second one is the amount the attitude expressed in any text. And the last one, we need to have a little bit about the background knowledge in the text. The step two that we need to follow is followed by that. Try to explain the linguistic difference enumerated in the first step and to specify just what dimensions are in the social context. So that means that everything that we enumerated that we specify and in according words and structure, we're gonna do it here, but with the social context. The difference in the formality between texts can be related to the degree of feedback that was possible between a text producer and an audience. So that means it's like the relationship or the formality. Okay. Also, we had the related role being played by a text producer. So that means that we need to know what is a role playing of the text producer in the in a text. So we had to know what is uh, her, his, or their social class to understand what is the role that they're playing in in a social context. And also the last one we have the contrast between technical and everyday vocabulary can be related to the degree or the familiarity of each producer related to that topic. So yeah, this is all my presentation, and and my partner Carlos Nolasco is going to continue.
And allow me to introduce the first one, Martha Shiro. She's an author who has written about discourse genre for multiple perspectives. In one of her works, she stakes the notion of discursive genre as a species which have great relevance in contemporary linguistics, and its study is necessary from a theoretical point of view because it presents new tasks and challenges for analysts. Since it deals with complex unit, text, discourses with descriptive nature, it is subject of debate in different fields. From the applied point of view, knowledge about genres is essential to optimize the processes of acquisition and teaching of mother tongue, second and foreign languages, and it contributes efficiently and effectively to communicative exchanges in the most diverse area of linguistic use, such as institution, translation, specialized writing processes, documentation archiving system, computer products, among others. Discourse specialists start from the assumption that discourse genres are equivalent to socially created linguistic spaces, and therefore it is necessary to clarify how they vary in their realization, textual organization, interlocutors' roles, information that is reveals or hides the linguistic expressions used, and the intensity of role, emotion, and intimacy in each of these spaces. The criteria to characterize and classify discourse genres are diverse. And the classification uses a combination of these three types of criteria. Intratextual criteria. They include the explicit marks and signal found in the text. This type of criteria allows us to characterize the most frequent linguistic features that appears in the text. Lexical feature, the use of certain terms, the choice of tenses and verbal form, such as the past tense and the narrative, the mode, the modality, and the evaluative language, use of adjective, adverbs, verbs, etc., and the mechanism of cohesion and referential continuity that give texture to the set of statements. Also, included in this range are the different ways of identifying the organization of text. For example, beginning, middle, and closing. Extratextual criteria. They refer to features to, to situational feature and allows us to specify the context in which certain discourse genres may appear, the role and other characteristic of the participants, and the speech communities that makes use of it, and appropriate the characterized discourses. Studies that focus on intertextuality and interdiscursivity are also located in this field. Functional criteria. A combination of intratextual and extratextual criteria that allows detecting the communicative purpose and intentionality that underlies the text as a whole. With this criteria, genres are focused on a social practice and the meaning generated through discursive construction, which are revealed, as well as the expectation and consequences that this construction have on people who produce and consume the discourse. Now let's talk about Patrick Charadeau. He offers a panoramic view of the gender problem from a social communicative perspective. In first instance, it makes a distinction between, on one side, mode of discursive organization, such as narrative, argumentative, descriptive, explanatory, etc., and, on the other, discursive genre, for example, attached in social practice and belonging, therefore, to different areas: political, religious, scientific, etc. In this framework, genres are structured based on the global and specific communication situation within the social context practice in which knowledge circulates. Charadeau also develops an analysis of the propaganda discourse from the social communicative perspective. In this description, the situational context is explained by Charadeau, presenting the positioning of the I, the sender, and the you, the receiver, which characterize the interaction in the propaganda discourse on three levels. First, the prescriptive. The I wants to order you to do or to think something. Second, the informative. The I wants to let the you know something. And the incitive. The you must believe what the I says. In Luisa Granato's work, we can see how she analyzes colloquial conversation from the perspective of systemic functional linguistics as a social practice and highlights its heterogeneous character, both for its thematic variety and also for the different composition styles and linguistic discursive expression it presents. She observes that in the great variability that characterizes colloquial conversation, there can be other incorporated genres, such as narration or anecdote. Likewise, the author analyzes the features of intertextuality and interdiscursivity that appear on the corpus of conversation she has collected, as well as the aspects shared by all the discourses. Granata reflects on the impossibility of categorizing colloquial conversation as a discursive genre from the base model of her work, but she comes to the conclusion that it is possible to consider it as it is presented in the cultural context as a model for reiterating in certain communicative situations.
Well, thank you, Carlos, for that great presentation. This is all about gender and register. I hope you enjoyed it. Well, thank you so much for watching this.